What would you say to pastors? If there's a pastor that is, he's committed to exposition and he wants to preach the Bible, is there a danger that he can get so caught up in just preaching the text that he ignores what's going on around? Is there a danger in the preacher who gets so caught up in current events that he ignores the text? What would you advise?
Well, what I normally do is I will essentially preach the same sermon from John 19, but I will preach it completely differently depending upon what sort of audience I'm in. So, for instance, if I'm in a place where you have a lot of people who are tempted toward the kind of political idolatry that we have in our culture right now, they're the people who want to cheer at every reference to some political kind of ideology. I'm going to emphasize my kingdom is not of this world. We don't find our identity in politics. On the other hand, I preach the same message in front of a group of church planters who had seen that sort of politicization of the church and rightly rejected it. But like we so often do in the church, we tend to overreact to the last bad thing. And their temptation was toward a complete disengagement, don't reference anything at all. And in that case, I had to say, look, we're not only standing where Jesus stood, we're also standing in this system where Pilate stood, which meant there's an accountability to citizenship. That doesn't mean, though, that we come in and preach through public policy positions or endorse candidates or those sorts of things. What it means is that you shape and form consciences to be able to carry out their responsibilities. We already know how to do that when it applies to personal ethics. So are there some people who just get up and preach moralism, do this, do that?
Right.
Are there people who preach legalism and say, here are all the things you need to be doing the Bible doesn't specifically say? Yes. But you can't overreact to that by saying, well, let's just not talk about personal morality. You talk about the gospel, and the gospel has implications then for personal morality. It also has implications for what we do as families together. It has implications for what we do as neighborhoods together, and has implications for what we do as cultures and societies together as well.